Okay, should I start this?
Yes, you should.
Shaking in my chair.
Hey, man. Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast, dude.
Funny guys are dangerous. They'll make you laugh and laugh and laugh, and then boom, you're naked.
Oh, you're naked long before the laugh, baby.
Oh my God, that chick, she's so beautiful.
Oh, I don't get it.
My kids say I'm obsessed with
We
that
know
clip.
you don't get it.
My kids go, "You're just obsessed with her in that clip." I go, "Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, this
yeah, definitely are." Well, good evening and good afternoon, and welcome to the 75th show of the Big Bad Broadcast. 75. This is our diamond anniversary show.
Diamond plated with
Diamond. And we've got a great show again for you today. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter that I don't have a backdrop since we are on audio, but I should.
You don't have a backdrop, John.
Oh my God, John doesn't have a
Use
backdrop.
a virtual backdrop, and I will be in the Caribbean.
At your age, you got a front drop, but where's
There
your...
we
there you
go.
go.
There we
hey.
go. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah. Now he's got if you can't, I'll narrate it. He's got blowing palm trees over
And waves,
Yeah.
and waves.
And waves.
and
Don't
waves
forget the
over a
waves,
beautiful
man.
bay.
Nothing will give you more serenity. I feel like I'm in Jamaica, man. Pass
Oh,
this thing.
Jamaica.
Pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side.
Okay, let me introduce you, maniacs, and then I got to tell you my Jamaica story. All right, so we have Mike Grief.
Oh, yeah, baby. I'm feeling so Caribbean in the knee.
And we got Craig Mitchell.
How you doing?
All right, you say it reminds you of Jamaica. So I was coming into, I think I told you this, guys, but I think I told you this offline. Did we talk about this with David Master?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're coming in. I was coming in
I
Jamaica.
think about this show.
I don't know. I
when
was coming
once
to
it's
Jamaica
over.
one. If I heard this again, I apologize. But I was coming to Jamaica one night to meet a cruise ship, and the guy was just searching everything I had. And like an idiot, I said to the customs guys, "Do people actually smuggle anything into Jamaica?"
Yeah, I think you did.
Oh, and then he.
It must be hard to travel when you're John Ferrantino. You got swords and knives and
I know.
Body
like
parts.
body parts. It's like, how do you travel anywhere? I mean, they go find
Excuse
out.
me, sir.
I mean,
Can I ask you why
are you
you're
kidding?
traveling with a valise full of severed
Yeah,
appendages?
if I have an ounce extra of mouthwash in my freaking carry-on bag, they've like freaking searched me for an hour, pat me down every orifice. Yeah, well, I guess when you look the way I look. you
Okay,
know?
so I was going to this paranormal convention, right?
Ooh.
And I had everything in my backpack that I needed. I'm going through security.
What is that? What is everything that John needs?
Okay, so I had a registry with 600 dead people in it. I had I don't know, just like a bunch of weird stuff. A spirit bell that rings by itself. I had a hand that taps out messages. So I had all this stuff. And I go through and I bring this stuff through, and the guy says, bag check. I was like, oh, God. So he opens up my bag and he's going through this. He goes, what is that? And I go, that's a hand. I go, this is equipment. And he goes, equipment? What is this equipment used for? And I was with Joe Silky, and I go, I contact the dead. And the guy just pushed it all back in the suitcase, zipped it up, and went, okay, thank you.
So where were you going? Where were you
I
going?
was going to a magic convention that was a paranormal convention.
Well, my
And-
last
And Silky was just like the whole time going, I contact the dead? What is the
contact
matter
the
with
dead.
you?
that's the best thing I could come up with. I'm a mass murderer. Yeah. Well, I tell you, the last time when I flew to you, I had a weird experience. The first time ever. I mean, no, for some reason, they always put me in that thing you stand on and you got to raise your arms
Yeah.
above you and it goes around. Some people don't have to go through that, but every time they put me through that. But this time when I got out, they're always check my legs for some reason. But this time they gave me this whole thing where they asked, actually, do you want to do this in private or right here? I'm like, hey, do it right here. And, you know, they check right up to your freaking sack. It goes up my
Right.
leg to my sack. I'm like, hey, this isn't bad, you know?
Unless
Where
you're
is this now?
Dangerfield,
Where is this?
unless you're Dangerfield, your sack starts at your ankle.
Well, this was in out here in LAX. Oh, it must have been LAX because I guess I was on my way to Orlando. And but it's like it was a weird freaking thing, man. I can carry no metal, but I always get triggered. I think it's the iron in my blood because in my leg, I think it's like there's no there.
Do you have
They
a
always
stint in? Do you have a stint in your leg from when you had problems with your leg?
no stints or nothing like that. But I have like a blood buildup, like there's like whatever clots and shit. And I think it's the iron in there that that
You have
triggers
to have
their.
an awful. What did you eat an anvil? I mean that doesn't.
Yeah.
That seems a little. Are
How
you
else you-
chewing? Are
how
you
else you
chewing
could-
nails?
How else are you going to smuggle? Hey, this is the dumbest system anyway. Why do we still have to take off our shoes? Is there really anybody fucking making
Well,
shoe
what I
bombs
think is-
anymore?
What I think is very.
that's so 90s, so 80s.
I think what's so very ironic about that is the shoe bomber took off from Heathrow Airport
yeah.
in England, and England is the only place in the world where you don't have to take your shoes off.
Well, he knew that. He knew that ahead of
Come
time.
on, a shoe bomber, and he's asking people for a light.
You know, I never had a problem on an getting into an airplane or anything like that. But I had an interesting thing happen when I was taking my mom's ashes to New York after she passed away, because I got the ashes that day. It was like really rushed, and they gave it to me in a little gift bag. It was a shiny blue gift bag with the little rope handles. And the seat in between me and another passenger was open, so I had the bag sitting on the seat. Right. And so we're getting ready to take off, and the flight attendant comes over and goes, "Excuse me, sir, you got to put your bag under your seat for takeoff." And
you knew her?
oh, damn.
Hold on,
John,
hold on.
that was not
Sorry.
nice. Oh,
Where's the
John.
bump?
Sorry.
Wow. So no,
Bum.
so I don't know why I said this, but I went, "That's my mother." And she went, "Oh, you got to put your mom under your seat for takeoff."
real sympathetic, you know what I mean?
Oh my
Oh,
god!
She gave her the offers.
I'm so sorry, but either put her under the
That's
seat
so
or in the,
mean.
or put her in
That's
that
even
pouch.
meaner.
or put her in the pouch in front of you or under the seat.
Put your
But,
mother under your seat for takeoff.
Oh my
Could you
god!
store her in the pouch in front there?
You
That's
put
where
her
I
in the
keep
pouch.
That's
No,
where you
to
keep your
this day, I
snacks,
don't
your
know if she
mom.
thought.
You should have just broke into tears.
You know,
And
you
just
know,
went into my mother.
Wait, what do you got there? So in the pouch, I got a sandwich,
That's
some
all that's
peanuts,
left of her.
and mom. I got peanuts, sandwich, and
So
mom.
I was on an airplane once, and I'm sitting there, and there's a big guy at the aisle, and a big guy, me, and the window, and this little skinny, nerdiest guy you've ever seen in your life, like a Woody Allen lookalike, comes walking by carrying this little
Barry Mitchell?
12, yeah, like Barry Mitchell, like a 12 by inch by 12 by inch box.
like a
Little
lunchbox.
teeny box, yeah, like a little box, and he's holding it with his two hands, like he's carrying like the weight of the
Something
world
very-
in this
yeah.
box. And he sits down, and he has it on his lap, and he puts his arms around it so they won't see it during takeoff. And I look over, and on the front of the box it says "human eyeballs."
Come
Oh,
on.
I
God.
swear to God, it was like a cooler with human eyeballs in it.
So it was like a snack?
It's like he must have been transporting him to a hospital.
Either that or trying to.
Human
Did it look
eyeball.
like he was munching on like hard-boiled eggs during the flight?
Oh, no.
I
You
swear to
know,
God,
you
it's
know-
like human eyeballs. And I go, at one point he got up, right? And he had to go to the bathroom, and he took his eyeballs with him.
Yeah.
And the guy in the seat next to me goes, "Do you see what this fucking guy's carrying?" And I go, "Yeah." I go, "I was trying to let you know through the whole flight." And we
You know
all
what?
started laughing.
Well, how
I was
else are
just
they going to
thinking,
get
thank-
toxin?
Thank God the plane didn't crash, because they would say, we have 116 bodies, but we have 40 eyes, so we got some bodies not accounted for here.
Oh,
You guys ever
man.
know anybody with a glass eye?
I'm close.
No, I know a few people with heart
Rich-
transplants. But
Richie Barathy, who was the
that crazy guy,
was the security guy. He had a glass eye.
did he? Maybe
And
that's why he was
every-
pissed off all the
And
time.
every time we'd go somewhere, and he would be like
He'd
half
take
in
it
the
out?
bag, he would take it off and put it on the dashboard and go, "I'll just keep an eye out for this." And we're like, "Oh, please."
And after a
Yeah, I
while,
had
it
a-
just gets fucking.
Put
Put your eye away, Richie.
I was in a
Not that eye
recovery
again.
program. I was in a recovery program, and there was a guy with a glass eye, and he would take it out during meetings. Which is
Why?
because he wanted to show what happened when he got into a car accident when he was drinking.
Oh, I'll take your word for it. Leave that fucking thing in.
Yeah, I know. Well, good thing it wasn't like the world according to Garp.
No, we called
You
him.
don't want to see that injury. You remember what
Yeah.
happened in that?
No, we called him. We called him Columbo.
Columbo there.
I would call him Cyclops.
Excuse me, ma'am, but I have a couple of questions.
Excuse me, but the eye.
Just one more question, Shirley, about the date.
Yeah, the Garp injury is
Which, for anyone who
my
doesn't
favorite
know,
lines.
the guy's
Like
getting
John-
head in the car, and fucking another car hits him from behind, and I guess she bites it off.
Yeah, and John Lithgow, who plays a trans woman, goes, "Well, at least mine was surgically removed." I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
great
no.
line.
You guys
What a
remember
nice
John?
guy.
Do you guys remember John Lithgow when he
I-
was that creepy ass on Dexter for the whole season?
Yes.
No, but I
Oh,
worked
he
with him.
was-
I
he was
worked with him
great.
on
He's a
Third Rock
great
from the
actor.
Sun. Not only that, but he's an incredible man, nice guy. But
Very talented.
we
Really great
on
actor.
that show, you know, it's some shows that used to be tradition. I don't know if they still do it, but we'd all gather in a little small room, like, and this one was John his dressing room, and you do a speed read of the script before I think I've mentioned this before, but we did that, and he's just the year I did that show, man, I got a Christmas card from him with a drawing. He drew me, you know, it was the whole cast of Third Rock from the Sun, and it said, you know, Merry Christmas, you know, John Lithgow. I mean, just a nice guy.
Oh,
I
that's
actually
nice.
saw one of his earliest movies yesterday. He was in
Which-
the 1978 movie with Richard Dreyfuss, and I guarantee neither one of you know this movie. It's called The Big Fix.
What's it called?
What is it?
The Big Fix. He did it right after The Goodbye Girl.
I've
I
heard
do
the
remember
name.
that movie. The Big.
I've
He
heard
plays
the
Fix. I
name.
don't remember.
Moses Wine. He's a private investigator, and he did a scene with John Lithgow. It was one of his first movies.
Moses Wine. Who came up
Meanwhile,
with these fucking names?
Meanwhile,
Right.
speaking of actors, did you read in the paper that
Oh, Pacino's having a kid.
Pacino's having a kid,
83 years old, and
and his
cocksucker's
girlfriend's
getting laid more than me.
29. His
He'll be
girlfriend's
100 He'll
29.
be 101 at the graduation.
He's
29.
29, and
83-year-old's banging a 29-year-old.
and
Successfully, too.
De Niro's having a kid too.
De Niro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
having
Well,
a kid.
they've always been in competition with each other. So I
I
guess
know.
it's-
and
De
they want
Niro's
to be
80 and he's 83.
yeah, and they want to be in diapers with their kids at the same time.
Oh,
Don't you wonder how nature works, though? It's like if you look at men and women, right? I guess nature is pretty smart, or God, or whoever you want to say. Women can't, you know. I guess there's a certain age. It's in the mid to late 40s. They can't have kids anymore,
when they go through the change?
right? But men can fucking have kids till the day that you could be 98 years old and fucking, you know, whatever, and knock up a.
That doesn't seem equitable.
Well, it's just.
I don't
no,
know if that's all men, but believe it or not.
What do you mean that they still have the ability? Or
Yeah, I don't know if it's all men.
well, I always think it's unfair with now they got, you know, one the CEO of some company couldn't get a hard on. Now there's 5 medicines for fucking, you know, there's Cialis, Viagra, there's like 10 medicines so you can get it up, which is like, give me a break. You know what I mean? I feel bad for the young guys today. They go out, they're partying, they want to pick up on the girls, 29 years, they got to compete with grandpa.
Well,
You a grandpa
Keep
who has
taking that-
money
keep-
and a nice car.
keep taking that blood pressure medicine, and you may be online for that.
Let me tell you something, nothing
It's the
stops
first
the
thing it
wood.
does. First thing it does.
First thing it does. Well, it hasn't done it yet.
It will. It will.
So you're saying Blinky won't stand at the flag anymore?
No,
Geeky?
he
me
may
tell you
stand
something.
at the flag, but
When
the
that
flag
happens,
will blow over.
when that happens, I throw the medication out and I freaking wait for the stroke.
You call Blinky?
What? It's better than his old name.
You don't?
No,
Godzilla.
I call mine Steve.
Steve. I call mine
It
Steve.
figures it would have a male name.
Yeah, it's like I can't. How could you name it Steve? It's like I'd be looking down and going, "How you doing, Steve?" Oh, geez, am I gay now?
And yeah, and when he's excited, he's Steven. But I spell with a PH.
Oh well, there you go. At least you got a
Yeah.
little class.
Yeah.
Stefan.
Stefan.
I'd like to introduce you
He
to
likes
Stefan.
you gotta call it Steven. You gotta call
No,
it-
no. Any guy, the real name. Come on, tell me your like nickname wasn't mine. Was when I was young was Godzilla.
That was your nickname?
The nickname, sure, man. What are you going to say about it? You know,
What are you, 12?
I'm not saying I do it anymore. I'm saying
Godzilla.
when I was a young man.
Godzilla.
That's right.
That's the
Well,
funniest thing I
'cause
ever
then I
heard.
could go, hey, there goes Tokyo. Oh no, Godzilla.
Well, at least you have your own soundtrack.
John, well, you never had a nickname for your
I
for
don't
your
think so.
I don't think so.
Not that I
It's his magic.
recall.
It's his magic wand.
Not that I recall.
Oh, we've really sunk to a new low.
Yeah, Steve is very bored by this conversation.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What was that movie? Mine was Mr. Pink. I don't want to be pink. What was that movie?
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
I don't want to be Mr. Pink.
Oh, he was the big.
Well,
I'll be any
speaking
other
of-
color. Can you be
speaking
Mr.
of-
Pink?
Speaking
Yeah.
of movies, I just, like I said, I was reading this morning. I got this book on Hollywood and whatever, and I was reading all about horror. What's your favorite horror movie?
Horror.
Horror.
I used to love all of those old movies like Frankenstein and Dracula
Yes.
and the Wolfman and
Yeah.
the Creature of. I was obsessed with those movies. Every Saturday afternoon, they would show them at our local movie theater.
And
Well, what's your
Yeah.
criteria? The one that scared you the most, or one you think is the best film?
I think the one that had the most impact, like the one that, like,
Okay.
because I agree with John. My favorite is Frankenstein,
Like the
the
one where
original.
the one where you were afraid to turn off the lights and go to sleep after you watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wow. That's just I remember being a kid and just being over awesome. And then to hear about too, that Boris Karloff wasn't even that big a guy, but they made him look like this huge giant,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For me, it was Night of the Living Dead, the original one, 1968.
The original Night of the Living Dead, when that zombie eats the big lizard off the tree and just picks up and eats it, was like the freakiest thing I ever saw. The movie that scared the shit out of me the most was, and I told you, I went to the drive-in movie with my dad, and I saw the original Fly.
Oh,
Why? Oh yeah.
And I remember, I think the movie came out in 57 or 59, so I was
Yep.
like 7 or 9.
you're way
that
too young
scene-
for that movie, man.
And I just remember he had the cloak on,
yeah.
and all of a sudden the hand fell out and it looked like a lobster claw.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember I was like, I couldn't even watch the movie. I got
Is
to my dad.
that
I'm
is
going,
that the scene after he crushes himself in the press to kill the
No,
press?
this is like when he first sees them. When he
Oh,
first
right.
sees them. And so recently it was on something and I taped it. And it was the first time I watched it since then. It is, as a kid, that movie would scare the crap out of you.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
You know, another movie is Freaks.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I can't handle that.
Okay.
I can't
So,
handle it.
all right, here's the story you guys will laugh at. So, my ex-wife and Lindsay go away for the weekend. And I've been taking my son to see all these Disney movies, right? Like all these Disney movies that are just the worst. I mean, they have a little couple. Oh, they are. As an
Wait,
adult.
how
But
long ago?
Charlie the Lonesome Cougar. You mean those?
No,
guys?
but you know what I'm saying?
We're talking about what, 30 years ago?
We're talking like,
The
yeah.
Aristocats.
Yeah. No, it's probably 25 years ago.
I'm trying to get a picture of which movies you're
Well, I
talking
mean,
about.
like the Aladdin was a really kind of a cool movie because it was kind of
It was.
inside.
Aladdin
Robin
great.
Williams.
Well,
Yeah.
Aladdin was a good movie, but there was like, and again, they had a big resurgence of Lady and the Tramp, and
Yeah.
they're
those were all
great
good.
movies, but it's like my son's a boy. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
Lindsay loved them.
What does that mean?
101
Who just was a
Dalmatians.
boy?
Boys
I
want to see like
decided-
the Jungle Book.
So
or,
I
you know.
decided I'm going to take my son to an action movie on the weekend.
Oh no.
I'm going to take him to an action movie. And we're going to go see his action movie. Like as a kid, I took my nephew to see the Fast and Furious. He thought it was the greatest movie he ever saw.
Right.
Of
Cars
course,
going
yeah.
fast, and
What's not
I
to
take
love?
my son to this
How old
movie.
was it? First of all, before you say the name of the movie, how old was your son?
5.
Oh my
Five.
God. What movie?
So
was
I mean, or 4, 5, I guess.
it?
RoboCop.
Last
Tell
Tango
me,
in
don't
Paris.
tell me
Okay,
it was
wait,
like RoboCop.
So to give you an idea, he has a booster seat in the movie theater,
Oh my
Nice.
God.
and he's got a large popcorn and a large soda, and he's the happiest kid in the world. We
Till the
sit
movie
down,
starts.
and it's a Denzel Washington movie.
That's
Right.
Washington.
No, not
No.
Denzel.
Not. I
And-
was gonna.
Is it Denzel? And this movie's called Blade.
No,
Wait,
that's
no, no,
Wesley
Oh, yeah.
Snipes. Wesley,
Wesley Snipes. I figured it's going to be
Empire.
Wesley Snipes action
Great
movie.
movie. Great.
I figured
movie.
it's going to be an action movie.
It is
Not
good.
for a 5-year-old, but a great
So we're
movie.
sitting there in the movie theater, and all of a sudden the movie starts going, dum, 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 dum. It's like a disco, dum,
Yeah.
dum, 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 dum. And a sprinkler valve opens up and red comes out. And my son goes, Do you think that's blood? And I go, no, it's probably just red paint. Another one opens up, and then all of a sudden, they just get covered with blood, and all of a sudden their mouths open, the fangs come out, and they start turning into. And all of a sudden, my son goes, "I don't care what you say. That is not paint. That is blood. Those are vampires. I'm out of here." And he throws the soda and the popcorn over his head and runs down the aisle screaming.
Oh God!
Oh, I
That's
have to run
hard
after
for
him.
life.
That's terrible.
I have to run after him and get him, and I kind of calm him down.
And then bring
And
him
I go,
back.
I go, let's just go into another movie. So he tells a story. I don't remember this part, that we sat down in the next movie and it was Anaconda. And he was terrified. His mother goes, "What'd you guys do this weekend?" He goes, "We went to the movies." He's crying.
It always happens that way, John.
Kids-
I went. Me and my friend Chris in 1997. We used to go to all the movies, and so it was summer, so we got to go. We got to go see Batman and Robin. And George Clooney. It was one of the worst.
Oh, it was the
movies on
George
Disney.
Clooney one.
Oh
Oh,
my God. And we sat through that thing and we were just like pissed. We got more and more pissed because the movie was so bad. When the movie ended, we were leaving and we go, you know what? Fuck this. This movie theater owes us another movie. I'm like, yeah, it does. It does. That was horrible. We just walked into another movie without paying. And
what a shock! I did that every fucking movie I ever went
yeah,
to.
yeah, but God punished us. You know what?
I don't
movie
care
we
if there
walked-
was 6 or 10 movies. I'd go whichever one. I'd fucking
Yeah,
walk.
but God punished us. You know which movie we walked into?
What'd you walk
Wow.
into?
Speed 2, Cruise Control. And after that was over, I said, okay, we just learned our fucking lesson to never walk into a movie.
Well, when I was a kid, on Saturday afternoon, we were talking about these horror movies. At the end of the movie, I think it was at the time. God, it sounds so old.
Did they have the cliffhangers there and all those?
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
Like you'd have a weekly little serial
it's like
kind
a
of a
serial.
thing. And, yeah.
Like Captain Marvel or Captain America.
No, they were usually westerns, weren't they?
Yeah, well, a lot of them was what we were saying my grandfather produced was
The
the French
Rocketeer.
Foreign Legion. The
That's
French
right,
Foreign
yeah.
Legion with Buster Crabbe. But anyway, but they used to give out, like, as you left, they gave you a color thing saying what the movies were for the next 2 weeks, like a little handout,
Right.
and they were different colors. And then the following week, when you went back, if they had that color, you got in free.
Hmm.
So my friend and I used to wait outside the movie theater
Pick up
for
anyone
about a
who threw
half
away there,
hour
yeah.
and just pick up all of them off the floor. So we had every
Nice.
color for the following week.
There
Right.
you go.
So there was a movie coming that was a special event. It was Alfred Hitchcock's Homicidal. And it was a movie where an alarm would go off. And if you didn't want to see the last terrifying 10 minutes, you could go to the box office and get your money back.
Yeah.
And so we watched the whole movie. Then we hid in the bathroom and watched the whole movie again in that last 10 minutes so we could get our money back.
There you go. Which is, see, that was a publicity ploy. I was reading about Frankenstein. We were talking about Frankenstein. That when it first came out, it was so different. They did the same kind of weird publicity stuff like that. They had a theater. One theater said gave warnings. They had a nurse in the lobby of one theater said, in case you get too scared, they did this whole publicity stuff like that, and it was like it turned out to be one of the one of their highest grossing movies. Back, I think it was
1933 when King Kong came out. Nobody had ever seen. First of all, gorillas were not very. They hadn't seen gorillas yet, but when they saw King Kong, even with the stop motion, people were passing out in the theater.
Yeah,
Passing
I
out.
bet.
Well,
Now,
it's
that was
funny.
the original. Was that Harry Hausen? How do you say his name? Harry Hausenheiser. I remember he was real famous for that.
Harryhausen.
Yeah, he created that.
Yeah, I mean, the people were passing out, and the thing is, they said it's 1933. I'm not sure if it was the movie or if they were passing out from malnutrition during the Depression, but they were passing out.
The
His favorite-
airplanes didn't
remember
kill
Clash?
the monkey.
Yes.
Beauty killed the beast.
Rudy. We're talking of him. Do you remember Clash of the original Clash of the Titans?
I loved it.
Yeah, right.
Ray
Well,
Harryhausen again.
There was a movie that came out when I was a kid, and in LA when they had it at the Ramen Chinese Theater. Or
When you were a
whatever it
kid,
was.
what was that?
City
Ben Hur?
Lights. City Lights.
No, it was a silent. It was a silent movie. It was one of
It was
Charlie
called-
Chaplin's.
It was called
The Kid?
It was called The Tingler.
It had no name.
Oh,
they
yeah.
built-
And they
The
built
Tingler.
shock things into every seat in the theater. So every time the Tingler came out, you would feel this thing.
The Tingler.
I hate that.
What was
I
the
hate-
Tingler? What was the Tingler?
It was an old Playboy movie.
No, but I mean the Tingler.
Every
what
time
the-
you saw it, you got a little tingle. Um,
Was it a monster?
I
What was
don't-
the Tingler?
I
Yeah,
don't
he was like a
really-
villain. The
I
Tingler.
guess it was, yeah.
The Tingler.
I went to Disney.
Hold on, I'm gonna tingle.
I
I'm
went to Disney
tingling.
back in
It was a
2000.
Jewish monster.
It was
It
a
was a
Jewish
Jewish monster.
Hello,
Here
I'm
come-
tingling
Here
here.
comes the Tingler.
Oy vey, here comes a tingler. Watch out for the tingler.
It's
Don't
gonna
get
tingle
tingled.
He
just a
attacked
little
the-
bit.
He attacked the bagel store for
That's
commissions.
it. I'll have a corned beef sandwich and a side of tingle. Give me some tingle.
Well, I'm glad that didn't catch on because in 2003 I went down to Disney with my 4-year-old nephew, and they had
to look
a
up the Tingler.
they had a Bug's Life. Don McHenry. Okay, they had a
Right.
Bug's Life, but it was interactive 4D. So at one point, so if somebody sneezes, you got sprayed with stuff like you got hit with a sneeze. It was 4D, so you felt shit. They released rats, and you felt them running against your legs.
Thank God it wasn't a porno.
No, but then the guy was stinging the stinger, and you felt the stinger, and I was in a fetal ball on the bench. I hate that stuff. And
For
my
a
nephew's
Bug's Life.
giggling, having fun.
You were in the fetal position over a bug's life.
Hated it. I was terrified. I hated it.
I
hated it. I can't stand anything touching me, so I was like losing it.
See, you can't ask people like, what's your favorite movie? Because it's so suggestive. It's like, and plus there's been so many. Like I used to swear by, I knew my favorite movie in the whole world was always Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail. The funniest movie I'd ever seen. And then, but it's like, as time goes by, it changed. Like when you watch it, it's not quite the same, but for years, that and the movie Bill Murray Stripes.
Oh God. Love Stripes.
I can't think. I'm trying to think of the movies that to me were like
Army
this is-
training, sir.
Yeah, you mean your men finished basic training on your own? That's a fact, Jack.
That's the best. My favorite is the Birdcage. It's still one of the. It's the only movie.
That's really funny movie.
The only movie I remember
I
going
like when
to
that guy
see.
can't. I can't like when that guy can't walk in shoes.
Oh yeah, what's his?
Well, but that's
Yeah.
the first movie I
Hank
remember
Azaria.
going to
Yeah.
where I couldn't hear a lot of dialogue over the laughter in the audience.
Yeah.
That's how.
All right, so here's the story of the Tingler. 1959.
Oh, you
Yeah.
looked it up.
Dr. Warren Chapin, played by Vincent Price, was made a surprising discovery, the spine-chilling sensation that people get when scared due to a parasite that he dubs the Tingler. Chapin concludes that in extreme circumstances, prolonged fear can cause the creature to damage a person's spine and even cause death. The victim can't scream because they're being tingled.
And now we know why we never heard of it. The Tingler.
It's
Actually,
got
actually, that was the-
78% Rotten Tomatoes.
Vincent
Actually-
Price, though, man, he was something else. He was
87% of people love this movie.
wow.
And
man.
I never heard of it again.
Okay,
after
I'm gonna
that.
have to find it and watch it now. The Tingler.
The Tingler would be a good name for my penis. The Tingler.
Yeah.
The Tinkler.
The Tinkler too. That's good too. I like that.
Better name would probably be
here's the
like
trailer.
like Barney. Barney sounds like
I
a-
love you. You love me.
The trailer comes up big. It's Vincent Price, and it says, "Equip your body to guard against the attack of."
Well,
the
Vincent Price was
Tingler."
also in The Fly too, man.
Well,
Vincent Price was in every one of those movies.
these guys used to make 30 movies a year because
My
it's like
favorite
they,
Vincent
There's a
Price movies.
really scary Vincent Price movie called
The Raven.
The Rise and the House of Ushers.
yes, yeah, that's one. That's a good
And
one.
he's in at night. This used to keep me up at night. The vampires at midnight would come alive, and you'd hear them scratching on the coffins,
Yeah.
trying to get out, and their hands would come out like all bloody from.
Wasn't
trying to
that
scratch.
wasn't that an Edgar Allan Poe? Because I mean, that was
I
also
think
my
so,
favorite.
yeah.
My favorite poet, Edgar Allan Poe, with the Raven, of course. And then I think
Telltale
there was
Heart.
something, Telltale Heart, which was a great poem. And then I think there was something about the House of Usher.
I
that
saw
was a-
Michael Carbonaro do
Yeah.
just a reading of the Telltale Heart.
who is in the Rio in Las Vegas and
That's right.
putting on a great show at the Penn and Teller Theater.
It's called Lies on Stage.
That's
Wasn't
right.
that when is that? This weekend or last weekend? When
It is. I will tell you. It's until from from May until the end of August, I believe.
Yo, that's
Get-
awesome.
Get your asses out to Vegas and go see Michael
And
Carbonaro at
ask
the
him to
Rio.
read the Telltale Heart. Ask him.
That's it.
Oh, it's really yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I love the insanity of that poem though, where it's like he's sitting there and he's being interviewed by the cop, and you hear the beating, and now the whole thing, how he crept in at night every night, just like open the door a little more and let a little light shine on the evil eye. And I mean, you talk about an intense poem, man. Edgar Allan Poe, and then the Raven, of course. I mean,
But he was great at children's parties.
yes,
Okay,
he
so
was,
the
'cause of
Carbonaro effect
balloon animals.
The Carbonaro,
Edgar Allan
Carbonaro-
Poe was known
the
for his balloon
Carbonaro
animals.
effect lies on stages from May 25th to July 2nd.
You gotta go see
Special
it.
engagement at the Penn and Teller Theater at the Rio. And the shows
That's it.
run Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every week.
Tell him you watch the Big Bad broadcast, and they'll double the price.
Double your price. Absolutely.
It's a really great show. It's a really
You know,
great show.
another great movie with Vincent Price, because it was also Boris Karloff was the Raven, because at the end they have a wizard fight. It's really great.
Yeah, you can't beat Boris Karloff. I mean, like I said, he with that voice, Frankenstein. Yes.
Vincent Price, he was also in The Fly.
Yes,
he was in everything.
John, Greg said that 10 minutes ago.
I was researching the
I was
Tingler.
researching.
I was researching the Tingler.
I was reading about the Tingler.
he was also Egghead.
Egghead, yes, I'm Batman.
Egghead. On Batman. Exactly.
Exactly, Batman.
He just had you know what my new obsession is?
I don't even want to
Tingler?
guess, John.
No.
My new
All right. So I am so bad with names. Craig is so good with names.
I am.
So who is the main actor in Hunger Games? Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Got it. You got it.
So Jennifer Lawrence, you just got to look on YouTube at just the funniest things that has happened to her. That she's just such a regular person that just takes being a star so like light.
In stride,
He was
right.
saying she was in a movie with Charlize Theron, and she came out and they said to her, "I was working with Charlize." She goes, "Oh, you didn't hear? She died."
What the fuck?
And they were like, "What?" And she goes, and then I got called into the promo office and they yelled at me. You can't say things like that,
She,
But she
sounds like me.
She went to get her Academy Award. And she tripped on her dress and fell flat on her face when she was going up to get the award. She's just, I mean, she's really
When she
funny.
did she go, ta-da?
She's really funny. I mean, they have like her best comedy moments. Like they're all over YouTube. She's really, really funny.
She actually has a comedy film coming out the end of June. I don't know.
She always does stuff though like that. She always she goes, I just always get in trouble because I just don't take this serious. And I just say stupid things.
Good
She
for
goes,
her.
when I was in what superhero movie she was
X-Men.
old. She goes, the first X-Men they did, she goes, I was all in blue makeup for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
She goes, the next one, they had a blue suit.
Wait a minute. So she played the what do you
She was
call
Raven.
it? Raven. Who's the one? I mean, because that was what's his name? John Stamos' ex-wife.
Yeah,
played
the same. It's the same. It's the same. That's a character. That's her name. Raven. Yeah.
Who
Mystique.
I also
Mystique.
worked with once.
Mystique.
Gorgeous woman.
She
Yeah.
played Mystique. She was the younger Mystique. Yeah.
So she talks about how in the second movie they made a complete blue suit that she could pull up over her so she
Right.
wouldn't have to be in makeup for 8 hours. And she goes, you would think the guy that invented the suit would realize that women have to pee. She goes, so here I am in my
Couple of
trailer.
zippers.
She goes, here I am in a trailer peeing through a funnel through a blue suit. And this other guy on the show comes in and starts shooting me in the ass with a BB gun. And she has and people are like, oh, I can't believe you're telling this story. She goes, well, it's true. It happened. You should check it out. She's very funny.
It makes people more relatable,
She's in a movie that didn't get a lot of attention called Joy. It's about a woman.
Oh, yeah.
You saw
It's
that?
it's very depressing.
No, they talk about it.
I liked it.
I didn't see it. No, I didn't see it. I don't know.
It's about
But
the
this-
woman who invented a mop, and she ended up starting not QVC, but the other channel, Home Shop. No,
Home
she
Shopping
started
Network.
QVC. She started on the
QVC.
Home Shopping Network, and she eventually made a rival. It's a great movie.
I
We
think
have
David
we have a
O'Reilly-
friend. We have a friend who's a salesperson on the Home Shopping Network.
Really?
I'm sure you guys probably know Helen Keeney. She's one of the hosts. You don't remember Helen Keeney?
No.
New York comic, very funny lady.
I know her.
She sells on the Home Shopping Network.
I think
I
David O.
got-
Russell gave Jennifer Lawrence her start.
David O. Russell, which
David O.
is
Russell
also,
did Joy. So there you go.
Yeah.
there you
What do you mean?
go.
Oh, what by the what's Silver Linings Playbook? That movie? That was David O.
Yeah.
Russell. Yeah.
That was a kind of a sick movie.
She won her Oscar for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Won the Oscar.
She's
Her and Bradley Cooper.
she's very talented. She's very funny. But really, just I don't know how I even got it, but I was looking for something on YouTube and it said 10 of Jennifer Lawrence's funniest moments. And I watched it. And then now I guess they just keep coming up every time I go on YouTube.
She's on one of the talk shows. She actually gets drunk. I think it was cool.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, this is
Colbert.
another one. You'll like this one. She goes, so I'm in a bar and this guy walks up to me and she goes, "Aren't you the chick from Hunger Games?"
Aren't
And
you
I
the
go-
chick from
And he goes, and she goes, I go, "No, I never even heard of the show." So she goes, the beer was already speaking at this point, right?
Yeah.
She goes, so the guy goes, "I'm pretty sure you're the chick from Hunger Games." And I said, "I'm not the chick from Hunger Games." And he goes, "Well, then F you." And she goes, so she goes, with that, he goes, "I took a mug of beer, I poured it over his head. He had a suitcase. I started pouring all the beer all over the bar. Every beer I could grab, I'm pouring all over his suitcase, throwing beer in his face." And then she goes, "This is how bad we were." A friend comes up to me and goes, "Don't waste the beer."
Don't waste the beer.
But she has all stories like that. She's very funny. Very funny.
You ever get a drink poured over your head by a woman?
Yes.
Me too.
I don't know if they have.
You know, I fucked up. I was at this little place and I'm doing comedy, and this woman walked in front of me and she had banger legs. Now, if I'm saying that, they must be pretty banger. And I
don't know, Craig. Your definition of banger and ours might be a little different.
No, they were
There's a
very hairy.
thick
They
muscle
were
in
hairy
here.
and muscular.
They look like redwood trees.
Yeah, they were
like
hairy and
redwood
muscular. They were
There you
bang. No, but she walked in front of me, and instead of saying nice legs, I said, "Oh, thunder thighs," and she thought I meant she was fat. And she
Yes,
came up
that's
to me
not the
afterwards and
right-
poured a drink over my head.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was a dick. I just came out wrong. I didn't mean that.
Yep. Yeah.
It doesn't matter even if you meant that right.
I know.
Nowadays, you can't say that.
Yeah.
No. See, in the
So
old-
I got her back.
No.
I got her back. I fucked her father. But anyway, seriously.
But I'm pumped.
Your show stops suddenly.
I know how to throw on the brakes. Here we go.
Yeah.
Did you guys find any news stories?
Well, I don't. Like I said,
did.
I was supposedly that that crap is hitting Florida, and then besides DeSantis, isn't that big pile of red seaweed or something is supposed to be?
Yeah,
it's
it's
supposed
what
to
they
be like
call it.
flesh-eating bacteria or something like that.
They said it's. I mean, yeah, really, Florida's really taking a hit.
So I read how that works if you guys are interested. So there's so much plastic in the ocean. Fish eat little pieces of plastic. They get deathly ill, and then they actually have diarrhea and throw up.
Nice fish
And
diarrhea,
the
fisheria.
organisms attached to that, which then lives in that seagrass. I think they call it seagrass or whatever it is.
Mm.
And then, which for years it's been everywhere. And when it floats in the ocean, it's like a place where fish lay their eggs and turtles,
Nursery.
but now it's all washing up on the beach. And they're saying that if you have an open wound, you could get this
Nice.
flesh-eating disease.
It's flesh-eating.
We're no.
because,
Well, life originally came out of the ocean. I mean, so that some warped new life is fucking developing out there right now.
a plastic man.
Yeah, plastic man is right.
But no, it's a flesh-eating bacteria, right? Because
Yes.
if it was a brain-eating bacteria in Florida, then it would starve. Thank
It
you.
would
You're a week.
or either would either starve or it would explain a lot.
It would explain
There
a lot,
are
yes.
brain-eating amoebas.
Yes.
Now I feel like we're going
They're
back
in
to Vincent Price movies.
They're in office.
eating amoeba.
Yeah, they're all in
Or a-
office, John. All those amoebas.
Tingler. It's
There was
called
one at a surfing place in Texas. They had to close down because the guy got affected by a brain-eating amoeba.
I don't know why.
And
Why
went
would
on
an
to
amoeba?
be,
And
it
his
went
name
on
is
to
Greg
become-
Abbott.
Tell my joke.
How would an amoeba go? You know what I want to eat? I want to eat fucking brains. That's what I want to eat.
Well,
Well, the Tingler was off that day.
There you go.
Tingler.
You come full circle on the Tingler.
Like a French tickler.
You know, the other day we started
French
talking about
Tingler.
before the show, but we never really got to it, about your nude comedy club.
Yes, that's I don't know if we didn't talk about it. I don't remember. But it's a monthly show in Brooklyn, and the comedians are all nude. It's like it's a little thing. I think it holds 75, 100 people, but still, I mean, it's like I can't imagine going up and performing. Not that I'm ashamed of anything or whatever, but it's like, do you think people are really going to hear your comedy with your fucking dick hanging out?
Are you wait a second. Is the audience naked too?
No, I don't believe they are.
No, there's no fucking
No,
way I would ever do
The audience isn't naked, just the comics.
that. Even when I was hot, I wouldn't do that.
But even like, I mean, seriously, even especially if it's a female comic, is anyone actually going to hear a word if she's halfway decent looking, or if she's horrible looking? Either way, you're not going to fucking hear a word she says.
Well, I mean, I've performed at nudist resorts. They don't like it when you say colony. And
Did you get nude when you did it? Though?
No, God, no. Then they
Why
know I was a
not, man?
comedian.
Shit.
They knew I was a comedian.
Yeah, that rope trick would be tougher to do.
But
or
yeah.
or that piece of rope might be.
It's so weird because
Ladies and gentlemen, the Tingler.
the Tingler.
everyone in the nude resort has to carry a towel to sit on for
Right.
sanitary reasons.
I hope they
And the
carry
men
some
all-
fucking
the men all wear-
hand sanitizer too.
The men all wear t-shirts or Hawaiian shirts open and no pants. And the women wear
Yeah,
like,
because you want to cover up your fucking your shoulders, but not your balls. Well, it's
and
kind of
I called this guy up on stage and he had on like a Billy shirt. And I just said to him, I go, could you pull your shirt down a little bit? I got like a big
Pull your
laugh.
shirt down.
pull it
Well,
down
Yeah,
over
take
your
it down
ass.
below your cock.
I know. It was like, and then the woman actually said to Chris, my girlfriend, she goes, I don't think he likes nudists.
I just don't get the mindset.
No, it's
you know
not the
what I mean?
nudity you don't like. It's the nudity you don't like.
It's
It takes the mystery out of everything. Who the hell wants to walk
I
around
used to
nude,
go to-
looking at
I used
nude
to go to a
people
nude
all the
this
time?
guy walked by. Chris
It's like
tells
eating
us-
ice cream all the time. You get tired of it sooner or later.
I used to
This
go to
guy-
the nude beach all the time.
This guy
Yeah.
walked by us,
It
right?
was like fucking Godzilla hitting the beach, and people would run
No,
the other
I
way.
wasn't. I didn't look like this then. I was thin and gorgeous.
Chris,
I think you have a little misdiagnosis of what you look.
I
what
was
that?
thin and gorgeous. You didn't know me back in '94. You didn't know me.
Doesn't matter. You weren't gorgeous.
I had
Okay.
a 34-inch waist. I was beautiful.
I had a 34-inch waist at one time.
Okay.
Like,
that don't make you gorgeous.
okay, so I'll tell you,
I was
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
Chris says that while she went to the bar to get a drink, this 90-year-old guy walked by her that weighed about 80 pounds. He was 6 foot, pushing an oxygen tank. And she said his back just looked like it had a crack in it where his ass was.
Oh my god, that wasn't an oxygen tank. That was his balls.
Oh God,
He said it was like disturbing.
that was his ball he was carrying around on the
His
the
balls. He
wheelie
had a hand cart for his balls. It wasn't
Oh.
the oxygen tank.
oxygen. And fucking, you know what? And I love it. He said, I noticed see now they got these pills that even that guy could have a kid. But in the old days, it was like,
Have a
for
kid.
for a guy like that to get a hard on, you needed like an elaborate pulley system.
Pulley system. I like that.
That's it. Or two sticks and a
A
piece of
pull-
rope.
a pulley system.
Hey John, I have a
An
story that
elaborate-
I'm surprised you didn't find during the week.
Well, go ahead.
No, it's about this kid, this 18-year-old graduate from Louisiana called Cameron Robbins. They took a cruise. They took a cruise on a cruise ship, and at night he said, "Watch this," and he jumped off the boat.
Oh, into shark-infested waters.
The shark
right?
infested waters, and
I
he's
heard
gone.
so.
He's dead. He got eaten.
I
Good.
heard, yeah.
Find him.
Didn't
Good.
something weird happen after that though? I seen. Didn't they
Getting
cross
eaten
some-
by sharks is pretty weird.
No, it's not. It's pretty common. I mean, if you
It-
jump into a fucking bunch of sharks,
Right.
it's not really that strange to get eaten by them.
Well, did you ever see that thing they did on Jackass? They had a pool of sharks. They put chum in the water,
Jump.
and then they had a guy on
Oh, and is
John
it me or
froze.
did Well, we haven't had that happen in a
Oh.
while,
Yeah.
And then he jumped over this shark tank,
right?
which is actually in the water. It wasn't like a tank. And that was going to be the big skit. And what happened was he fell when he hit the ramp and the shark bit his arms.
And did he
Oh.
bite his
He
arms
didn't
off?
die. No, he didn't die. So on the next one, they had to bring him back to get rid of this spear. And they
Which for
covered
Spear?
Jackass. For Jackass, that's even funnier than the normal. John's froze again, but I mean, come on, I've seen him do some incredibly weird shit on that show, man.
I want
Oh,
to. I want
yeah.
to know the weird thing you thought happened after he fell in the water. I mean, what's weirder than being eaten by sharks in front of all your classmates?
No, some picture of something resurfaced.
Let me tell you
of-
something.
of
I
this.
live in Port
Something
Canaveral.
happened. I don't know what it is. That's what I'm saying. I
Oh.
heard the story, and then they said some kind of spooky thing of him. I guess after he was dead,
Oh.
popped up. Like, you know, maybe I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Well, look it up.
We'll look it up. Hold on, Craig's doing that right now, aren't you?
I mean, haunting images after he jumped off the ship. It says.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. It's so there's some kind of haunting image. I don't think it's of him getting eaten by the shark.
No, it's. Oh, it's him. It's him watching the movie Jaws. No.
Oh, there you
I was locked up.
you were. Now I wonder if sharks ever bring people back and go, you know, this is underdone. Can you cook them a little more for me?
Well, you know, I live near Port Canaveral, and people jump off Carnival ships all the time when they come into port,
Yeah, because it's
like
carnival.
idiots.
Yeah,
They're
but
idiots.
there's
How
no
about that
structure.
moron? Did you hear about this guy who opened the door on the plane?
Yeah.
You know, it's like and his
Wait,
excuse
that was
he
real, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was real. It was going to South Korea, I think.
Yeah.
How do you
Korean
open a
plane.
door when it's? How can you open a door when you're pressurized? How do
You
do-
have the emergency exit of that door
Yeah.
that can open, whatever.
Yeah, when that door, when you pull that thing, it has like an explosion behind it that blows the
Yeah.
door out.
Don't you
even
think
if you're pressurized?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, how else would you get out? I mean,
Well, you got to flip the lever to depressurize the door.
But I heard it
And
takes
then
like
you pull-
superhuman strength to do that if the cabin.
Well, they were landing, so I don't know if they were how pressurized or whatever they were.
may have been. Yeah. Okay.
But
he
they were, yeah, I mean, they were still pretty high.
Now it makes you think every time you fly now. Who knows who the nut? I never thought about that before, but I will be thinking about next time I fly. Who's that nut sitting in the extra leg room aisle exit friggin' thing?
Did you see the videotape of the woman flying to England and she bought all 3 seats and
Yeah,
then took
yeah.
a roll of saran wrap and started
was that
making a
about?
first class section?
Oh.
She
What was
started
that
making
about?
she started making a tent. And the guy's like, you can't do this. And she was like, she went nuts.
She did.
You
She
saw
did.
it, right? She-
I have
Took
a
it, she
backup.
wrapped
I have a
around all
backup.
4 seats and was putting it over the top. And the guy behind is just going like this. Like, you're an idiot. Yeah.
Now, there's just so many crazy things going on. Do you think that it's always been like that and we just didn't hear about it, or is it just
Yes,
is it some
I
new
do.
thing?
I do. I know not everybody had it. Everybody in the plane now has a camera, has a video camera. That, 30 years ago, that even before the iPhone came out, that never happened. So it's recent. But I think
I think it's true that everyone has a camera, everyone has a video
So
camera.
it's always been this crazy. We just never.
I don't
knew
know if it's
about
always
it.
been this crazy. I mean, look, the country was never this crazy before.
What do you think? Maybe she did that to get views on her account or something, or do you think she was just?
She was nuts.
Well, that's another thing too. People are doing insane things just because they want to be on the internet. They want to be on TikTok with.
Yeah, the Tesla jump in Echo Park. That was
What was that?
Views. The guy got into it, they rented a Tesla, and Echo Park has a street.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah,
And
I
they went
remember
off
that,
the
yeah.
hill.
Yeah, and they jumped it. They had air for like 40 feet. Then he crashed
Yeah.
at the bottom of the hill, and then they just ran away, and because they had rented it with a phony name or
And
something.
they didn't take the insurance. No.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know what makes me wonder? It's like here's a stupid thing. In the old days when somebody said, "Oh, you're an influencer," that was never a good thing. Now everyone strives to be an influencer. And what is an
I know.
influencer? It's just a con man. I'm just a salesman trying to trick you into buying shit. I'm an influencer. That's every kid's now dream is to be. I want to be an influencer on YouTube.
Some
No,
people make a lot of money
no,
doing
no.
it, man.
Maybe they do, but maybe they should be fucking hitting the head with a bat. Fuck, just because you
Maybe
make a lot of money.
maybe you should be an influencer.
Maybe.
You should just like you
Buy
break
this so
people's
you
house and
die. Buy this or I'll hunt you down.
I would never presume I know enough to influence people to do fucking anything.
No, but John's right. There's money. They're companies. They're selling crap You know, Paris Hilton goes on and, you know, she's using lipstick and it's like, oh, this is Revlon, whatever. And so, you know, they're giving her God knows how much money.
People are really weak-minded, aren't they? They have to follow what Paris Hilton is doing.
Especially
have you seen that commercial with Paris Hilton now?
Yeah, the one where she goes in a hotel and she's like,
she's beautiful again.
Well, she never was not really kind of beautiful.
She's got to be in her 40s now, right?
But yeah,
tell the truth. Tell the truth. Have you seen the Dirty movie, the Paris,
yeah,
a night in Paris?
Of course I have.
Who hasn't? Just out of morbid curiosity.
I haven't seen it.
Craig hasn't. Well, the guy's got a huge schlong, so you might want to watch it. No.
All I kept thinking is it was a proud parent moment.
The Tingler. I saw the what's her name from
Kardashian?
No, the one from
Pamela.
I saw that one with Tommy Lee.
Yeah,
that was like shot professionally. That was like, oh shit.
I loved it. Yeah, no, it was stolen. Please, you released it because you know they knew what was going to happen. That was going to make them even more famous.
We saw it at Jimmy's office at Governor's. He had it on the computer.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Jimmy Finn. I don't know. I never saw that side of Jimmy Finn.
We're going to get paid, and he's like, "Come on, you got to see this." And of course, I had to act like I was into it, you know. But anyway,
that's another thing I don't understand. Why would guys want to show other guys porn? That's what I want to do. I want to watch porn with another guy who's getting excited. I want to sit near a guy with a freaking heart on over here. No, thank you, please.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird. I always thought that was weird too. I have to tell you.
Yeah. Why would I want to watch porn? Why do I want to go to a strip club with other guys? It's like,
I mean, if you go to a porn theater in Queens, you're doing that because you hoping that you'll connect with somebody.
Yeah, and you're hoping
in your own house, it's creepy.
And you're hoping a pigeon doesn't crap on your head.
What? A pigeon? It's not that guy in the balcony. He's really excited.
That's what I'm saying.
We were clean. We didn't say anything dirty there. We just alluded to it.
I was just thinking that there was a booker and where the hell was it? Like Billy or something that we used to work for. I don't want to say his name. And every time you work for him, he'd have to show you this video. And it was the most disturbing video in the world where this woman grabs this guy's scrotum and twists it 17 times around.
Oh my God.
What?
She goes, I was like, and you couldn't even watch it. It was so painful. And he would just laugh and he'd show everyone again. And then there'd be the discussion. I go, the guy's got to be dead.
I would rather see two girls up than that.
Or, you know, maybe he's got, I mean, come on, we've all been in the locker room and you see these guys with their balls hanging to their ankles. You could probably twist those 17 times. They just come back into the right position.
I mean, this was like, they looked like they were going to explode. It was horrible.
He must have
the guy looked like he was dead. The guy looked like he was dead.
Maybe he was. Maybe it was just a dummy or something. Because I mean, 17 twists, and if he wasn't screaming in pain,
no, and he was looked dead. Like he really looked like he was dead. I kept saying that's a dead guy.
You guys would have passed out if you ever walked into the mine shaft in New York City. You would have passed out.
Yes, we would have.
Yes, you would have.
The mine shaft.
Oh, it's called the mine. Anything went in the mine shaft. It was
It was. We know that. Like, how do you like that double entendre? Anything went into the mine shaft.
Yeah, that's a big.
Well, how can they get away with that legally?
It was like a private club.
Yeah. But so what?
Well, who said it was legal?
I mean, who says it's legal?
Who said it was legal?
I think they probably got raided. You know, I mean, Plato's Retreat got raided. Do you remember that? Channel 4 was covering Plato's Retreat, right? That was the swingers club in Manhattan, like in the late 70s.
Yeah.
They got raided, and when the camera came in, there was Roger Grimsby in a towel sitting there going, "Oh my God."
Now in the old days, those bathhouses, I guess they were popular. I've never been to one. You ever go to a bathhouse?
Oh yeah. There was one called Man's Country. It was on West 18th Street in Lower Manhattan. It was 9 stories tall. They had a prison floor. They had a movie floor. They had a truck floor where they had a semi in there. So you could
he remembers all the details of this. Craig, I think I can fucking say what.
Dude, I remember I was only there once, but how can you forget there's a truck on the 9th floor?
I think I can say with comfortable confidence that you're a fucking whore.
When I was 19, it was like Candyland. What are you talking about?
Like candy. Which sucks because they didn't. I guess. Well, maybe they did have places like that for guys, but I don't think so.
It was for guys.
What? Candyland or whatever the fuck it was. Oh, it was for guys.
Man's Country was only for guys. Trust me.
Yes, but I'm talking about guys. I'm not talking
Yeah, I know
about
what you're
gay
talking
guys.
No,
I'm
but
not thinking
dude,
about girly guys.
Dude, it is just so gross in a lot of ways, but
It was so gross. I had a sandwich. I ate it. It was
dude. They had food there too. I mean, who's going to eat there? You know, you could feel like the disease on the walls. I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about AIDS. I'm talking about herpes and gonorrhea and shit. But that was
The
1979, man. I was lucky I didn't hang out in that too long. But still,
Did you ever go to John? You ever go to Studio 54, which was real the shishi? I mean, you had to know.
I wasn't
somebody to
into
get in.
that whole disco-y thing.
No, me neither. I was a rock
Disco-y.
and roll.
I like that.
We had the.
You ever see the
saying-
picture? There's a famous picture from Studio 54 of Alice Cooper and Jean Stapleton, and she's like wearing like, you know, dark eyeshadow, and she's got like this revealing dress on, and it's
Boy,
like,
the
you
way
know, you're
Alice
having fun
Cooper
with Alice
played.
Cooper and Edith Bunker at Studio 54.
Alice Cooper and Gene Stapleton. You talk about the odd couple. Oh my
Tell
god!
me about it, man.
Craig, you had a story too, right? Oh, yours
Yeah,
about the shark guy.
yeah, the kid who got eaten by sharks. By the way, his name was Chum. Thank you. I'm here.
Hey,
Chum.
Yes,
Chum,
it's
hey,
me,
Chum.
Chum.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I just have some funny headlines that were
Good. We have about 6 minutes left. This is perfect.
that have like they have some grammatical mistakes, so they read not the way they were intended.
Okay.
One is Iraq head seeks arms.
All right.
What? A rackhead?
Something went wrong in jet crash, experts say.
Oh,
Police
my God.
begin a campaign to run down jaywalkers.
I
Yeah.
like that. That's a good one.
I'm behind that campaign
That's
100%.
it.
Farmer Bill dies in house.
I love Farmer Bill. He was a good old boy.
That's right.
Miners refuse to work after death.
Come on, man. I mean, we all refuse to work after death. I will not do that kind of overtime.
Juvenile court to try shooting defendant.
Well, I mean, that'll teach him.
Just in the leg.
War dims hope for peace.
I love these, man. Where'd you get these?
If strike isn't settled quickly, it may last a while.
Who wrote this? Paris Hilton?
Oh my god.
Cold wave linked to temperatures. Couple slain, police suspect homicide.
Oh my god.
Red tape holds up new bridge.
I'm not driving on it.
This is a great one. Man struck by lightning faces battery charges.
Is he going to get charged?
He is the human battery.
Yeah.
New study of obesity looks for larger groups. Astronaut takes blame for gas in spacecraft.
There's some solid
but let me just interrupt you. They say that's a common issue on like when you're in the spacecraft for a week, when you fart, it stays there the whole time.
Here's a touching one.
To be enjoyed at
Here's a really touching one. Chef throws his heart into helping feed the needy.
Lots of protein there.
Local high school dropouts cut in half. Hospitals are sued by 7-foot doctors.
7 boy, that's hard to find.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Yes, I am to be suing you.
Typhoon rips through cemetery, hundreds dead.
Oh my god!
I wish there was more of those. Those are funny.
They should list where these are from.
Hundreds dead.
Hundreds dead. Oh my!
That was in Tombstone, Arizona, right?
That was like the
tell
big
you.
cemetery going into like before you go into the Midtown Tunnel.
Yeah,
on the right.
Calvary, I think it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
No,
I don't think
Cal,
Calvary was out on the island.
yeah,
wasn't it?
that's my
No,
dad is buried
but-
there. It's on
That's
the
my
island.
dad's
But
in
it's also
Calvary,
in
too.
Queens. It's a huge. It must be because
It's a
Calvary's
military. It's a military cemetery. They probably have more than one.
Well, there's the big military one in Long Island somewhere
Yeah.
because my
Yeah,
grandfather was buried there too.
Calverton. That's
Calverton.
Calverton.
That's where my dad
Yeah.
is.
But anyway, that big cemetery doesn't matter. I mean, it goes on for like miles. I don't think
Yeah.
there was a time in my life where I didn't pass by there and my dad would go, you know how many people are dead in that cemetery?
All of them.
All of them. I was like, oh God, here we go again.
You want to hear? And this is going to sound weird, but we used to drink in there. I'd go in there, and the guards at night didn't mind us coming in because we would chase off the devil worshippers. We had a bunch of us,
Devil worshippers?
there would be devil worshippers there, and so we were going to drink and party, and they would run as soon as they saw us because we knew we were gonna, and we would drink. I can't even tell you how many times I woke up on a mausoleum or something, just
So you would chase the devil worshippers out of the cemetery, and they would run to the mine shaft.
Well, yeah, they'd run to the mine shaft where they could find any
Which worship the devil.
I think Houdini's buried in that cemetery.
Really?
It's been around a long time. I mean, it's an old cemetery. Like I said, I know part of it is Calvary. I don't know if the whole thing is Calvary, but it's huge.
They're still waiting for him to come back.
I'm surprised they're not digging people up, and because of the value of the real estate. I'm amazed they're not digging everyone up and moving.
Oh, well, speaking of digging people up, there was that nun that I told you guys when we had our meeting. There's a nun. Okay, so here's the story. I just did it. She died in 2019 and wasn't embalmed.
Right.
And she was buried in her family. She was buried in her family plot. And then they decided she was one of the founders of this cathedral, and they wanted to bury her in the cathedral. So they exhumed her body. When they exhumed her body, the casket had cracked open. And when they looked inside, they were like, oh my God, she's like totally preserved. When they opened up the casket,
she was alive. She was having a sandwich. What do you want?
All of the I guess the linens inside the casket,
right,
were all rotted away, and her habit and everything was made of the same linen, and that was totally preserved. It looked like she died an hour ago.
So they're saying it's like a miracle, right?
So yeah, they took her out and they had her in this place in Ohio where people have waited online for hours and hours to touch her. And now on the 30th, they put her in a glass box.
That sounds like Ohio. People waiting in line for hours to touch a dead person.
Touch a dead nun.
Now, didn't you say they were going to make her? They want to make her a saint.
Well, that's usually one of the signs, incorruptibility.
What was her name?
I don't know.
Saint. I don't know. Well, then I'm just trying to see what her saint name would be. It would be her real name. So, Saint Bernadette. I don't know. I don't know much about saints. I know about sinners. I don't know, man.
I just, I mean, they treat the body they fill you with formaldehyde so you don't.
There was no formaldehyde used. She was not embalmed whatsoever.
Really?
Yep. Because it was like she died and they buried her like within a couple of hours. There was nothing.
Oh, then that means that was murder. There was something going on if they buried her that fast.
Excuse me.
It was
Excuse me. Did anybody touch her, take her pulse before they put her in the ground?
Well, that's and I'm sure you know this stuff, but that's how the night shift and the whole thing. The names comes from the graveyard. It was people were afraid of being buried alive years ago, so they would actually put a bell inside the coffin and a string. There was a string in the coffin, and it went to a bell that you could ring, so that the night, that's why they hired somebody at the night shift to stay at the cemetery, so that if somebody
I saw Michael Carbonaro do a whole thing on this once, and he said when people died, they would run a tube down to the casket, they would tie a string around their hand to a bell.
Right.
And if they come alive, they'd ring the bell. And that's where the expression "saved by the bell" came from.
Saved by the bell.
That's true?
And then he goes,
probably,
which is a bunch of bullshit because that's a boxing term.
Oh, okay. That's
But
how would you like?
I bought it.
How would you like to wake up in a coffin, though?
Well, you think about it. They didn't have the medicine that we have now. So if you went into a deep coma, and they couldn't measure brain activity or whatever, they said, "Oh, this guy's gone."
Obviously, they weren't checking too hard either. That's like, hey, he looks dead. Put him in a coffin. Go ahead.
We need the hospital bed. Get him going.
I wonder how often that shit would happen. Obviously, if it was a service that they offered, it happened a number of times where they put a guard on in the cemeteries to listen for a bell. I mean,
in a related story, there was a woman who was catatonic for 20 years. I mean, she couldn't talk, she couldn't communicate, she couldn't even take care of herself with the most basic needs. and she magically came out of it, and she's fine.
Wow.
So you never know.
That's like
What
that
the
movie
human mind
Awakenings.
is kind of weird, man. You never know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, some little thing that was whatever, and suddenly gets healed. What was that movie? Awakenings was based on a true
Yeah,
story,
that's
right?
exactly what I was thinking. Awakenings, which
Yeah.
is effed
Where
up.
like they were all kind of comatose or whatever, and somehow
The rigid body syndrome. I don't know, but it's
who
scary as hell.
played the doctor in that? That was
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. That's right. That's right. Discovers a way
Williams
to bring them
and
out of there.
let's see.
And Pacino, I think.
No, it was De Niro.
De Niro, right? I knew it was one. I knew it
Penny
was one of
Marshall.
the
I think
Italian
it
guys.
was Penny Marshall's second film she directed.
Yeah.
She did Big and then Awakenings, and then she did A League of Their Own.
Boy, her and her brother, man, fucking had some. Gary Marshall's first film was The Princess Bride, right?
That was
Carl. Carl was Reiner. Carl Reiner, right?
Gary Marshall. I remember Gary Marshall doing The Flamingo Kid. That was a great movie.
Yeah, and he'd been around. He'd been around forever. I remember seeing him as an actor. You know, Gary Marshall. People forget he was an actor as well as a director and all that stuff.
Well, guys, it's about that time. I don't know if you.
Okay, so just so that you know, the nun's name was Sister Wilhelmina Lancaster.
Wow, what a great name! So
That
it's
is a
her
good
name,
name.
Saint Wilhelmina Lancaster. I mean, or do you just pick one name? Because I mean,
think
that is
they
kind of greedy.
don't they always pick a saint name?
That's kind of greedy to have two names like that.
Saint Wilhelmina.
Saint Wilhelmina, maybe. Or no, John's thinking they just take a saint name, like they take a name like Bob, Saint Bob. How come there are no saints named Bob? Is there something against Bob's?
Saint Peter, Saint John, Saint
Yeah,
Joseph,
it's all those biblical names. There's no saints, you know, Saint
Saint
Frankie.
Louis.
How you doing? I'm Saint Frankie.
I'm
Hi.
Saint Louis.
Saint
So
Louis.
some scientists, just to clear us up, says that mummification of unembodied body is common at a university facility, and that the bodies could stay preserved for many years if allowed. Coffins and clothing also help preserve the bodies. Typically, when we bury people, we don't exhume them within a couple of years. We didn't get to look at them a couple of years later. George said that with 100 years, there may have been nothing left. But when you got just a few years left, it could be expected.
Well,
I
Craig
don't know.
says we're at that time.
I know.
We're past it.
We're
We're
right
over
about
out of
there.
time. I am
Right
late for
about
my
there.
time.
Yeah,
I am behind my time, Mr. Scrooge.
I'm thinking about Pet Cemetery, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's
you're,
crazy.
thinking,
All right.
You're
Well,
think-
on that happy note,
you're thinking of the mine
on
shaft.
happy note of mine
Yes, I am.
shafts, non-decaying nuns,
of
Pingler, and
Engler.
medicine for your Willie.
medicine for your Willie.
Wait, what did he call it again? What was it called again? The
What,
Schmuck? What was it called?
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Oh no, there goes Tokyo. Oh no,
Ooh,
Godzilla.
Yeah, Blue Oyster Cult wrote a
That's
song
right.
about it.
That's right. Blue Oyster Cult wrote a song about my dick.
There you go. My dick, my dick.
dick.
my
I was
dick.
just thinking. I
about
was just
my
thinking
dick,
the
my
same
dick.
thing. The three of us are so sick.
My
We're
dick,
all thinking that same song.
my dick. All right. Go ahead.
All right, get it over with. Put us out of our
With
misery.
that, the death bell rings.
Death bell.
I gotta
Yeah.
hang a bell under my motorcycle.
But it's not ringing because your microphone's not picking it up.
I
That's
can
weird.
never hear bells on my microphone.
It's got to be the frequency of it.
It's
Yeah,
spooky.
it picked
You
up.
can't hear that.
No,
Yeah, now I hear it. Yeah,
Maybe it's
I don't.
great.
I heard it a little bit. Yeah.
I don't hear it
It's
at
No,
all.
I
so
don't.
weird. Why does
Maybe it'll appear in the show. That would be great, but I don't think so.
Why doesn't microphone pick up bells?
Because-
Another bell.
It's the frequency.
It
It
said
must
you
be
pick
the
this up
frequency,
either, right?
Kenneth.
Watch.
Don't hear it.
No, just hear it.
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
That's
Why is it
loud.
because we can it? Yeah. No, can't hear it.
Nobody knows what comes after Kenneth. in
Mike,
that
you ever
song.
think that maybe we're deaf? What?
Huh?
What?
Huh?
Well,
What?
what? I don't hear nothing.
Could be. Well, okay, so until the 76 show.
We are the
Yeah.
big bad broadcast.
Big bad broadcast.
That was a
We
fast
are
75.
signing out. We hope we've made
Signing
your
out.
day a little
Check us
worse.
out on the podcast playground, baby. Spotify. We're everywhere. We're
Yeah,
also-
we are everywhere. And if you have an Alexa, if you have an Echo Dot, just go Alexa, play and say our name. If I do it now, my Alexa will say something.
There
So
you go.
Does
Yeah.
that work on Google too?
yes, it does. As a matter of fact, so we're everywhere.
We're everywhere. Man.
Wow, how
Everywhere.
cool is that?
Every Friday at 9 a.m.
That's right. So
Cool
so
is
when
that?
we do the show, John, you have to stop saying good evening, everybody.
Well, no, he's talking to the people in Japan. So he's fine.
I don't know if you've
Knows.
noticed that, but you
I
started-
did, but I don't because we used to be on at night. I
Yeah,
can't
we
even
used to be on
track
night.
of
It's
when
a
we're on.
hard.
I know, but neither one of us has said anything about
And you know,
it.
there's some guy who watches.
And every
it
time
who-
I say it, I go, "Is that right?"
there's some guy who listens at 11 o'clock at night, and he goes, "How'd they know I'd be listening
How'd
at
they
night?"
know?
This is very cool.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, have a good weekend.
See you next week.